The covenant of Noah is the second covenant that forms the foundation of Ethiopian identity. According to the book of Genesis, after Noah and his family survived the flood in the ark, God made a covenant with Noah, saying, "Here is the symbol that represents the covenant I'm making between me and you and every living being with you, for all future generations. I have set my rainbow in the sky to symbolize the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow becomes visible in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and every living creature, so that water will never again become a flood to destroy all living beings. When the rainbow is in the clouds, I will observe it and remember the everlasting covenant between me and all living beings on the earth." This is the second covenant God made with humanity. In it, He promised that He would never again destroy His creation with a flood. The eternal sign of this covenant is the rainbow, which continues to be a symbol of hope. From the beginning of their existence, the children of Ethiopia have seen the sign of the rainbow as a reminder of their Creator's presence among them. This divine sign has been preserved and honored in their faith, engraved on the tablets of their hearts. There is a good reason why the children of Ethiopia pay close attention to the rainbow. It serves to remind them of their covenantal relationship with the one true God, the divine protection this covenant provides against the attacks of the enemy, and the security it guarantees from total annihilation by destructive natural forces or human perversion. Since the era of the New Testament, every Ethiopian child has been taught to address the rainbow as the waistband of Mary. Through this tradition, the body and the life of the Virgin Mary, imagined as Ethiopia, have come to symbolize and eternalize the nature of the rainbow. The Holy Mother, through her Son Jesus Christ, played an instrumental role in delivering humanity from extinction and assuring everlasting mercy. One widely recited Ethiopian prayer of the exaltation of the Virgin Mary states, "You are the true cloud that has shown us the waters of the rain. God the Father has made you the sign of His only Son." Thus, the Holy Mother of God, through her Son Jesus Christ, is recognized as a living sign of faith for humanity's salvation from destruction and for the assurance of eternal mercy. Since the establishment of Ethiopia as a nation, its people have worshipped God in truth and spirit, holding the rainbow as their inheritance from Noah, a covenant written by their Creator on their hearts and minds. When it became necessary to adopt a national flag for identification, Ethiopians chose not to invent a new symbol, but rather to affirm their faith by incorporating the divine and covenantal symbol of the rainbow into their national flag, representing it through the three most prominent colors of the rainbow: green, yellow, and red. This decision is believed to have occurred during the early sovereigns that reigned before the coming of the Ark of the Covenant from Israel to Ethiopia, approximately 1,000 years before the birth of Jesus Christ. The early Ethiopians adopted this flag as their national emblem, a choice that subsequent generations have upheld to this day. The Ethiopian flag, featuring green at the top, yellow in the middle, and red at the bottom, serves as a unified emblem while embodying three distinct colors. This trinity illustrates the mystery of Ethiopia's unity and diversity in various forms. The green color represents Ethiopia's abundant natural resources and greenery. The yellow color, akin to a precious stone forged by fire, symbolizes Ethiopia's pure religion, tested through millennia of suffering. And the red color highlights Ethiopia's political and spiritual freedom, which has been defended by the sacrifice of its faithful patriots and martyred children, culminating in the blood of their Creator, who became man through the Virgin Mary. This national emblem of Ethiopia encapsulates both the unity and trinity of the rainbow and other profound mysteries, including the unity and trinity of God, the unity and trinity of the human individual, and the unity and trinity of the Ethiopian race. In this context, the oneness of the flag symbolizes the unity of these three races in the person of the Ethiopian, whose lineage is traced back to Melchizedek, the seed of Noah's three sons. Beyond the lineage and union of these three tribes, historical traditions within the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church affirm the connection between the Ethiopian people and Noah, as well as his works. It is believed that Noah and his wife Haikal, along with their three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, were born, raised, and lived with their wives in a land that would later be known as Ethiopia, named after the first Melchizedek, whose name was Ethiopis. This same land is where God originally planted the Garden of Eden and where Enoch, the great prophet and patriarch, walked with God before he was taken from the earth. After these early saints had passed away, God instructed the people living during Noah's time to build an ark to save themselves from the impending flood. Noah took his family and the creatures as commanded by the Creator into the ark and crossed the sea, historically referred to as the Ethiopian Sea, which we now call the Red Sea. The ark departed from Ethiopia and was headed toward the location where the city of Jerusalem would soon be founded by Melchizedek. The latter journey of the Israelites out of Egypt, led by the prophet Moses, mirrors these, as they too crossed the Red Sea, symbolizing the baptism that would later be received by faith in Jesus Christ. The passage of Noah's Ark across the Red Sea represents this first instance of baptism by water. This connection is affirmed by the words of the Apostle St. Peter when he stated the following in his first epistle, chapter 3. To those who were disobedient long ago, when God waited patiently in the days of Noah, while the ark was being built, in it only a few people, 8 in all, were saved through water. And this water symbolizes baptism that now saves you also, not the removal of dirt from the body, but the pledge of a clear conscience toward God. Finally, the ark landed on the mountains of Ararat, and all aboard arrived safely. They continued living there, with Noah's grandchildren engaging in close marital relationships. Out of this latter generation, who were referred to as Ethiopians, came the first Melchizedek, the patriarch of Ethiopianism. He inherited the books, the relics, and the remnants of his ancestors, which Noah had received from his father Lamech, and began residing in Jerusalem, specifically at Golgotha, the site of Jesus Christ's crucifixion many centuries later. The descendants of Melchizedek, known as Ethiopians, later migrated to the land of Ethiopia, which they believed to be the homeland of their ancestors, Noah and his children. Noah and his family's first pilgrimage to Jerusalem, the city founded by the first Melchizedek, the patriarch of Ethiopianism, paved the way for subsequent journeys by Ethiopians in the Old Testament. Notably, Queen Makeda, known as the Queen of Sheba, visited Solomon during this time, traveling from Ethiopia to Jerusalem. Later in the New Testament, the Ethiopian eunuch, whose story is stated in Acts chapter 8, became the first Ethiopian to be baptized upon his journey to Jerusalem and embraced Christianity. In short, a tradition of religious pilgrimage from Ethiopia to Jerusalem flourished among Ethiopians over the 3 covenantal periods, following the footsteps of such biblical figures. In addition to the flag and the religious pilgrimage to Jerusalem, numerous other traditions represent the Ethiopian manifestations of the covenant of Noah. One such tradition is the unique Ethiopian calendar, which marks the beginning of its annual cycle on the 1st of September, designated as the New Year. This date was selected by early Ethiopians because it was the day on which Noah received the first joyful news of the receding of the water from the great flood that had devastated the earth. According to Genesis chapter 8, Noah opened the ark and sent out a dove to see if the waters had ebbed. On her first mission, the dove found no resting place and returned to Noah. After 7 days, he sent her out again, and she returned in the evening, holding a freshly plucked olive leaf in her beak. Noah rejoiced, knowing that the water had begun to retreat from the earth. According to the Ethiopian tradition, the day Noah received the olive leaf as a sign of this good news was on the 1st of September, and he instructed his descendants to celebrate this day as the beginning of a new year, a new era for humanity. In the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, the dove symbolizes the Virgin Mary, and the olive leaf in her beak represents the gospel proclaimed by her Son, Jesus Christ, regarding the arrival of the kingdom of God and the salvation of humanity. The receding of the flood symbolizes the end of the 5,500-year era of darkness, during which humanity was separated from God due to the original sin of Adam and Eve. For this reason, it is customary in the Ethiopian Christian tradition to give gifts of green grass and wildflowers during the New Year celebrations. 2 months after Noah learned of the flood from the dove, he and his family left the ark and offered sacrifices to God, receiving the covenant symbolized by the rainbow. The rainbow, often associated with the Holy Virgin Mary, is referred to by Ethiopians as the waistband of Mary, symbolizing her role as the bearer of the good news of salvation of mankind. In some church paintings, Mary is depicted wearing a girdle with the 3 colors of the rainbow. In other artworks, a tricolored banner is shown around the throne she shares with her son. Additionally, ancient church walls often feature the Lord with a cross in his hand, adorned with this tricolored banner upon his resurrection from the dead. Priests also sometimes decorate their hand crosses with the Ethiopian flag. Churches seen as the New Testament representations of Noah's Ark are embellished with the flag during festivals, and their compounds and streets are also adorned with various fabrics in the 3 colors during major public celebrations. Until recently, it was also common practice for many Christians to decorate wedding tents and coffins at funerals with the flag. The rainbow, in general, is viewed as a sign of the benevolent presence of God and his angels among humanity. For instance, when the Lord was born in Bethlehem 2,000 years ago, the star that leads the wise men to the barn is believed to have been the angel Gabriel, who appeared to them as a star with the 7 colors of the rainbow. Similarly, in almost every instance of the birth of great saints, a rainbow or some pillar of light is often seen over the home they are born. And occasionally, this light of rainbow is also observed over their graves. Rainbows also appear on holy waters and over church buildings, and for those with the ability to see, they are also visible on the bodies of blessed individuals who maintain a steady faith in their covenantal relationship with God. Beyond being a spiritual and national symbol, the tricolored Ethiopian flag has represented freedom and sovereignty for the nation for thousands of years. Consequently, when several African countries emerged from European colonialism in the 20th century and established their own governments, about 14 of them adopted the Ethiopian flag, altering only the arrangement and the positioning of the 3 colors. This reflects that Ethiopia, due to its long struggle for freedom and sovereignty, is considered a symbol of liberation for Black people. However, in recent times, while the three colors of the Ethiopian flag remain unchanged, the political symbols featured on them have led to disputes and disagreements. Until the 1974 revolution, the Lion of Judah bearing the cross was the official emblem on the flag, symbolizing, among other things, the Solomonic dynasty from the tribe of Judah that ruled Ethiopia for 3,000 years. This symbol also represents Jesus Christ, viewed in the Bible as the triumphant lion from the tribe of Judah who conquered evil and death. The triumphant lion was not only featured on the flag, but also on the country's significant public institutions and properties like palace gates, coins, airline jets, public transport, national theaters, banks, and various public treasures. When the royal dynasty was overthrown by a military coup, the socialist military government replaced the lion with a symbol of communism, signifying solidarity not with God, but with the global working class. In addition, atheism and materialism were declared as the new political norms of the country. This major departure from the country's millennia-old covenantal mindset had devastating effects on the country's unity and stability. Following the fall of the socialist government, a federal democratic system of nations and nationalities was established. The communist symbol was removed from the flag, and a 5-pointed star was introduced as a heraldic symbol to represent the country's diverse ethnic groups on the flag. This regime also encouraged newly formed ethno-political states to adopt their respective ethnic flags, gradually increasing their prominence over the more universal tricolored banner and undermining its unifying effects and what it represents. This situation has persisted under the current government led by the so-called Prosperity Party. All the regimes that emerged following the 1974 coup have consistently engaged in relentless propaganda, portraying the former Ethiopian Christian dynasty as oppressive, exclusionary, and backward. However, many today view the situation differently. They argue that civil wars, droughts, famines, poverty, man-made and natural disasters, social breakdown, moral decay, unemployment, despair, and migration have worsened in Ethiopia since the socialist revolution of 1974. This decline is seen as a direct consequence of the nationwide rejection of God as the king of the country and all the commandments this would entail. Many believe that the challenge of corruption, lack of inclusivity, and poverty, issues associated with the imperialist regimes of the last sovereigns of the Solomonic dynasty, could have been addressed through strategic reforms rather than the complete dismissal of Ethiopia's millennia-old covenantal relationship with God. Despite this challenge, many Ethiopians still maintain hope for the country's renaissance, envisioning a renewal of the covenant with God. They believe that a better era is on the horizon, one in which the people will experience peace and spiritual blessings that extend beyond their borders to the rest of the world.